or we need to transition this way. Maybe with a really cool haircut, little Bob will look pretty, but you need somebody who's going to be honest with you and not try and blow smoke. I think that's super important. For veterans, I did the Boots to Business class when I was on active duty, when I was transitioning out of Jacksonville. And so I did it in 2 different places. I did it once in Jacksonville at NAS, and then I did it once in the sub base there in Georgia. The one in the sub base was horrible. It was not a good program. They wanted us to advertise in the newspaper and the avenues for what I'm getting at is those kind of courses are great. They're free. They're there for vets. They're only going to be as good as the instructor sitting across from you. So Our instructor, the first one he was an old school shoe instructor, and he was not up to speed on social media. And right now social media is the way to go for most people and most products. That's the one in Jacksonville. Amazing. Young dude, just got his MBA. He was running through stuff. He was working at an advertising place, and he was killing it, throwing out stuff that a lot of us hadn't heard of. And that was really awesome. And then also, reading books. Gary Vee's book, Crushing It, is an amazing read for anyone who wants to be a influencer in their own market. It doesn't matter if you're going to be the yard care guy or if you're going to be a coin guy. That book has a lot of insight on social media.
There's some good recommendations there. How would you say that your personal values play a role in your business? Is there a way that you'd advise others to incorporate theirs into their own business, or why or why not?
So I think they should be seamless. And we do stuff that's totally not mainstream, right? So we make coins. In any business you're there, you're trying to make a profit. That's what you do. But for us, right, we adopted a philosophy early on that if we're making a personal coin, be it a retirement coin or a commissioning coin, or a commander's coin, someone is the skipper for this command, or CMC, so the senior enlisted, right? Those 4 caveats, I'm not going to make enough of that. There's no reason for me to charge you above cost for a personal coin. You're not making any money off of that. That's a life event for you. Like a retirement coin, you spent 20 plus years in the service. I don't need to make $400 off of you to make your coin. That's not, to me, that's not crediting your service to the country. You want to give out a retirement coin, your ceremony is already going to cost you a ton of money if that's what you want to do. So why should I tack on more? If you want a retirement coin, let's make you a cool retirement coin and let's do it at a cost. CEOs and CMCs, they're required to have coins, but the Navy doesn't pay for it anymore. With budget cuts, they cut back that funding, so now they come out of pocket for it. And again, that's a life event. You went from 04 to 05, and now you're a skipper, and now you got to pay someone, $1,000, $800 to make 100 coins, and that's if you want like a round, standard coin. But if you want something cool, it could be more. I'm not going to make money off of that. And that's part of our personal values. We don't have to make money every time we turn around.
Right.
So we bring that into the business. And in doing so, it does well for us as well, because most of the time, if we're doing the skipper's coin and the CMC's coins at cost, we'll end up doing their chief's mess or their command coins at some other time. And sometimes it doesn't. But either way, it's fine. It's cool that we were able to help them at their time and make that impact without having to, dig into their wallet too deep. So.
What is something maybe earlier in your life? Is there something that you perhaps wish you would or would not have done or would have done differently?
Yeah. So, like I said earlier, I'm an AE in the Navy,
Mhm.
so I'm an aviation electrician. So I joined the Navy in '97, and I re-enlisted in 2001 for 6 years. At that time, I was an E5, and my SRB was like 3 or 3.5. It was something ridiculous percentage. So basically, the Navy gave me like this very, very large sum of money, like 30 grand to stay in the Navy for an extra 6 years. And I bought a beater car, cash. Um,
Mhm.
I gave some money to my parents because, that's what we do. And I think I bought 5 grand worth of tequila. And if I could have taken that money for tequila and put it somewhere more useful, like any stock at this point, would have been pretty amazing. But no, I bought a lot of Patron, and we went to a lot of different clubs and had a lot of good times. We had a lot of nice memories, but some of them that we still remember. But it was a lot of Patron, and that was not something that any young sailor should really ever do. So if I could do something different, I'd absolutely not have spent my SRV on Patron. It's a great story now. But I didn't have like a mentor at the time to be like, yo, dummy, put this money here, here, and here. This is what's important. Go take $300 and go buy tequila. But the rest of this, let's put this somewhere special. So
Yeah, good story there. Yeah,
yeah, that's
Patron
pretty
thing.
awesome.
So during your transition, granted you're kind of almost still going through that in a way since it's so recent for you. But have there been any particular hurdles that you've run across that you've had to overcome, and then also going into business, any hurdles there transitioning into a business leadership role that you could mention out for people?
So I posted this on Forward to Glory the other night. I think my transition is a little bit different than most people's. Because we started a business on active duty and the business was successful on active duty, moving it to, being retired, the transition was pretty seamless, except for we retired out to Crozet, Virginia, which is right outside of UVA in Charlottesville. And so it's kind of country-esque, and it took us 45 days to get internet. So that 45 days when you run an e-commerce website and you are, constantly uploading products and doing graphic design, I spent a lot of time in the coffee shop, like a lot of time in the coffee shop. So that part of the transition was rough. I also did not realize that your disability and everything is an entire month after you get your rating. So we got our rating in like August 10th, and I thought, wow, they pay a month behind, so you would get your first disability check September 1st. You get it in October. And so when they did my final review for all of my pay and stuff, my last active duty paycheck, or not active duty paycheck, my first retirement paycheck was like $800 shy of what it was supposed to be. They had survivor benefits all put in there, and we had opted out for it. And we're not doing the survivor benefits plan. We're doing health insurance and some other stuff, or not health insurance, life insurance and some other stuff. And so all this stuff come out, and then we get this check, and I'm like, oh man, that's really, really light. That's a lot less than what it's supposed to be. I'm like, but it'll be all right because my disability check will come in a couple of days and then we'll be good. And then a few days later, I'm like, there's no disability check. So understanding how the pay scale goes, I think that's kind of the only hurdle that we really had. We have, a fairly solid savings with the company, the way it's working, and then, utilizing the company for an actual paycheck, that helps out as well. So that was kind of a shock during the transition portion. Outside of that, it's I don't know. I'm running through the phases kind of fast. So I retired in May, and I didn't shave from May all the way into September. And then I just couldn't handle it anymore. Like I had this ginormous beard that came down to here, and every time I took a drink of water, I felt like our Saint Bernard, like water just coming everywhere. And I was like, I just can't do it anymore. So we got rid of the beard, get back to normal. And, now just trying to find that routine, which I think is the hardest part of transitioning, is getting back into some sort of like solid routine, which we're still trying to find.
Yeah. So I guess you would say that you probably stumbled upon the different steps through that process. You're kind of learning as you go.
Absolutely. Which is another reason why we started that Forward to Glory in Facebook. That's because I was realizing as I was running through transition, how many things were not taught to us during TAPS. And I was like, well, this doesn't make any sense. If all of this information is out here, how come it's not being given to the veterans as we leave or before we leave so that we can set up stuff appropriately, so we can be more successful? I always thought that if you're not cheating, then you're not trying. And so some of the steps that we could have learned to cheat portions of other things, like for like LinkedIn on how to get jobs and things like that, they just weren't taught, so that's one of the things that we're trying to do in Forward to Glory is teach people how to cheat that system to help them be more successful as they transition.
Yeah, and that is a very good group and resource for people to be tapping into. I've been following the Forward to Glory group for a little bit, so I do enjoy being in there and seeing the recommendations and the conversation that goes on. So what ultimately compelled you to start Pitch and Rudder, to go into that direction as far as doing challenge coins and what have you?
So I really like challenge coins, and I've always liked Sailor Jerry drawings. Like I like to draw, and so I didn't see any like really cool Sailor Jerry coins, and so I went through another company and I made a Sailor Jerry coin. And I had to make like a minimum of them. I couldn't just make one. So I made 100. And out of that 100 coins, it cost me like $1,100. And I was like, man, that's really expensive to do this. But then I sold them all at $20 a piece. So I made $900. And I was like, well, I mean, there's got to be a way to get that $1,100 down. But I still made $900 off a drawing. That's pretty cool. What else can we do? So then I made another coin through the same company. Price went up a little bit, and still sold them all. And then I made another coin through him, and then the communication with him got really, really shaky. Like it was really hard to talk to him, try to get him on the phone, trying to figure out what's going on with my order. It took forever to get like a solid answer on what was going on. And during that time, these factories from overseas were hitting me up. They're like, hey, we really like your artwork. We can do your coin for $3 a coin or $4 a coin. And, we can do the same way, sending me stuff. And so finally, the first company I was using was taking so long to get back to me that literally just pushed me into using the other factories. And so I made my fourth coin with them, and it turned out amazing. And instead of making, $900 or $800, now I'm making, $1,600 on this 100 coins. And so at that point, I was like, wow, there's really something to this. We just can't be like that guy, and everything will be good. And so that's what pushed us along that line. And at the time, I was just making one coin once a month so that we could go to Disney. And I'd actually, as we were walking around Disney, I'd be looking at stuff and be like, wow, we're doing the Pirates of the Caribbean trip or the ride. And as you're going through the ride, there's this pirate standing there, and he's like got a storm coming through, and he's on this helm. And I was like, that would be a really cool coin. And so I think 2 months after that, I drew up this big pirate, holding this helm with, all this chief stuff on it, and, sold like 250 coins out of it. It's the first time I ever broke 100 coins. And I was like, oh, cool. Got it. This is what we're going to do. And then it just kind of, blew up from there.
Well, that sounds like